Evening, boys.
All right there, mate.
You're right.
Hello.
You're right. You're right there, boys. You all right?
Yep.
We're back. Can you believe it? We enjoyed so much last night so much. We've decided to come back for more, have we not? So, how is everybody tonight? Are we good? Cockney, you all right?
I'm all right. You all right at the back?
Not bad. Not bad. Keith, you all right?
Yeah. I'm still here. Absolutely, all
Are you
good.
fighting fit for your assistant role this evening? No.
Yeah, sure.
Closed-ended question at 1:15.
And last but not least, it's the Mega Geek. All right, Ian. Mega
Yeah,
Geek.
I'm fine. I'm raring to go.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so yesterday we did cop shows, did we not? And
We did.
for some reason, when I woke up this morning, I thought, why don't we do some cop movies? And you all said yes. So here we are. The kind of criteria is, hello, Sklavko, by the way. Basically, indeed. Basically, a film that cops are involved, either maybe a buddy movie or comedies, or just basically a criteria is that the police are involved.
Because you're including RoboCop, correct?
Oh, thank you, mate.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Thank you for
Because if-
dropping that one early. Cheers.
Well, if we're having RoboCop, we're having Blade Runner.
We're not. We have done Blade Runner.
We've
On
barely
two-
scratched the surface of Blade Runner.
No, please, Ian, tell him, please. Not tonight, please.
Well, do you know what? It's your live stream. You make the rules.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cockney.
you're the live stream police. You're in charge.
That's
You
right.
abuse that power.
Cockney, I promise you.
Cockney is right. It is a police film, kind of.
It is. The one thing I kind of discovered while I was trying to select some films is there is just so many.
Yeah, but you got to select the good ones. You know.
All right.
I've tried to select the good ones and maybe some kind of, ones that aren't so good, but we'll kind of, figure out as we go on. I was going to do some of the 70s films.
Serpico?
I'll do some honourable mentions, like the French Connection, Dirty Harry films, etc.
We're not doing the French Connection. We're doing a cop movie. We're not doing the French. It's like doing science fiction and not doing Star Wars.
It's true. I don't know who.
I know. I
French Connection is one of the best cop movies ever made. So I don't
Well,
understand why
because
that's
that's
not on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I'm perplexed, confused, and discombobulated already.
Yeah.
I've got a confession.
You
murder.
well, you should go to church for that.
He'd
I've
be in the
never
box all day, wouldn't he?
Yep,
15 Hail Marys, 24 Our Fathers.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen French Connection?
I've
Oh,
seen.
dear.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
dear.
Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
dear, oh, dear.
I've seen snippets, but I can't actually ever remember seeing all of the film.
Well, why don't we just go round and each person mentions a cop movie that they like and we talk about it. That's probably the best. That's probably fair, really. And I know what Cockney's going to want to talk about.
Oh no,
Minder.
Well,
Minder.
tell you what, right? I've selected a few, and I think the ones I've selected, some of them are pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what we'll compromise. We'll do what you suggested as well, Ian. So that sounds like where everybody will be happy. So Can we? I've kind of done these in chronological order. So, as I said, we've not done the 70s because I can't really remember much of the 70s with regards cop films. A little bit before my time, even though I do know that World War II exists. But there you go. Can we start with Police Academy?
If you want. Because the 70s
That's a good
weren't
place
known
to
for cop
start, isn't
films.
it?
Yeah. Serpico's going, what the fuck did I get shot for? Spoiler alert.
yeah.
Go on, Courtney. You're first on the list below me. Go on. Police Academy.
Serpico. All right, Police Academy. It's a comedy. It's a police academy. And it's hilarious because it's got some sound effects in it that found their way into Spaceballs.
Yep, that's true.
And in fact, there was a bit of a side chat, but the lads and I were on holiday once, several times, went every year. But anyway, even after the age of 30, and there was a really tall bird, and we called her Hightower. So thanks to Police Academy. If you know a tall lady, call her Hightower. She will love it.
Get slapped, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's extra.
Have you seen the film then?
I've seen Police Academy, but I remember visiting the it's called the $1 bar. You know, the bar that they have in the film. It's in Canada.
Oh, okay.
I remember visiting the place when I was in Canada with my brother. We went across the road. Weren't allowed in though, but it still had the big dollar sign outside, which is
not the Blue Oyster Bar.
Yeah, that's it. That's the bar that they use. It's called a $1 bar in real life.
Oh, so you went in the blue.
Yeah, doubled for the Blue Oyster Bar. So.
There was nothing to do with the Blue Oyster Cult, was it?
No, not at all.
Although, pop trivia, Blue Oyster Cult, they got their name by anagramming Cully Stout beer.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It took me 20 years to get that bit of trivia. I first found out it was an anagram, and then it took me another 20 years to read it was an anagram of Cully Stout beer. So
the thing Police Academy, the way I see it, is the American version of Carry On, in my opinion.
Indeed, yes.
Oh, nice realization. I didn't think of that. Yes.
Did you think the original Police Academy film was good? Because
at the time, yeah,
I did. I thought it was fantastic.
Was it 85?
Was it about 82, maybe 83?
Okay. Whenever it came out, I was the right age for it. As early to mid-teens, I guess.
Yeah.
It was just the right kind of humor for that age group. So for me, at the time, it was perfect.
I didn't see it in the cinema. I saw it on VHS.
Yeah, back in the old VHS days. Yeah. I genuinely liked it. I thought number 2 was not bad, but you could tell they were, kind of losing it straight away. But
good example of diminishing returns. Each sequel was not quite as good as the previous one.
Yeah.
Keith?
I'll be honest, I never actually saw these until the middle ones. I think Police Academy 3 was the first one I saw, and then maybe 4 or 5 I saw at the cinema. But the earlier ones I went back and watched on VHS, like most people here. So, and they seem to really change tonally to me. It seemed that the first ones, or certainly the first one, seemed a lot more adult aimed than the sort of latter films, which seemed a bit more sort of, something suitable for a younger audience, whereas the first one seemed a little bit sort of adult in its themes from my memory. I might have that completely wrong, but that's how I sort of remembered it at the time.
I think 3 was probably just passable. I think that was the last one Steve Guttenberg did.
I think he did all of them, did he not?
I think he bailed out at number 3.
Did he?
Yeah. 3 was just passable, and then
I know in the second one they did the actual boss or the guy that was in charge of the academy.
Was it Pete Lassard?
Yeah, he wasn't in the second one. He wasn't in the second one, or was it the third one? Some other guy took over, and then when they did the third one, he came back. You know, the guy that's on the right of the picture. He's like the general or something like that in charge of all of them. And he was trying to give them hell. I can't remember his name in the film.
Yeah, he was
But
like
he wasn't
the bad guy, the annoying one that they all united. Yep.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the second one, as I recall.
Yeah, he kind of disappeared for a few, then he came back, didn't he, as the chief, and everybody hated him, didn't they?
Yeah. Because he believed that they didn't belong in the academy. Because I remember, because you have to be a certain kind of person to be a policeman, and then they opened it up, didn't they? That anyone can join, and that's what he was against.
Citizens on Patrol.
That was it. Yeah. Well, which one was that one? Second one?
That was the fourth one.
Number 2.
Oh, the fourth one.
Yeah.
And that guy with the strange voice, I think it was in the second one. He was the main villain.
Zed, was it Zed?
Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait, who played Zed. Yeah.
And then he became a policeman in the third one, didn't he? He joined them as a policeman. Yeah.
I always liked
that's
the
right.
guy who could do
I remember
sound.
thinking that was really weird because I already, when I first started watching him, he was already part of the police team. And then when I ended up later on going back and watching Police Academy 2, he was like the bad guy. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird.
You mean Bobcat Goldthwait? Is that him?
Yeah.
He was me. Dagda are friends, but they won't pick us up from the airport.
And he was in Scrooged, wasn't he, with Bill Murray?
Was he?
Yeah, he was the guy that Bill Murray fired in the beginning. Yeah, that was him.
So did we like Police Academy overall? I did. Very of its time. I think its heart was in the right place. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting that we've started this this genre off with a comedy police film, actually, because they are sort of few and far between. And yeah, I mean, as far as a series of films go, I think they were entertaining enough. But they were very successful. They're okay.
Yeah, they're very successful. That's why I kept making sequel after sequel after sequel. I mean, even though each one didn't make as much money as the first one, it still was, according to the studios, it's still a huge success. That's why they made sequels. If there was no audience, they wouldn't have made them. So there you go.
Yeah, but I think it came out. I was Cockney Spock said we were probably the right age to appreciate it, and I've got happy memories.
Humor.
Yes,
a lot of knob jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly.
Was it because of Porky's? That it was kind of Porky's humor, wasn't it? The very first one.
It was a little bit. Yes, I'll agree with that. Yes.
You know, when the police chief was making the speech and the woman gave him a blowjob under the table. That when I was
that was very good.
Yeah, I was laughing my head off when that happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's that kind of thing. yeah, that kind of thing. But yeah.
Right. So thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd actually like to try that out for realism. Just see
if it works.
To help me with that. Just I'd like to give a public speech and receive all the pleasure. Just to see if anyone would notice. I mean, it's a win-win either way.
Yeah. Oh, Beverly Hills Cop.
Moving swiftly along.
My mother loved Beverly Hills Cop and Eddie Murphy. So
now,
God
what
rest
year
her
was that?
soul.
1984. Yeah.
And everybody knows it was a vehicle for Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank God he didn't do it, because we'd have never had Eddie Murphy.
Well, it would have been a different film.
What was the story behind
fact, he did do it. He did do it. He did it as Cobra a few years later.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think there was a discrepancy. He didn't like the script and he wanted to change it or something. I can't remember. And he left the project. Do you remember why he left the project, Keith? I can't remember why.
I just think it was just sort of early in development, and he was attached for a while, and then other projects came up and whatever, and then of course when they got Eddie Murphy involved, that's they obviously changed it drastically to suit his style and his comedy and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, obviously if Stallone had made it, it would have been more of a serious action film. But I think the first film is a great. I mean, I really love the first Beverly Hills Cop film, and I remember well it was my one of my friends that lived around the corner. He got from the video library, or his parents went and got, I think, this and Gremlins. And we weren't actually old enough to watch either of them, and he brought them round on a Saturday. And I remember we did a sort of double bill back to back of Beverly Hills Cop and Gremlins. And it's one of those things that's one of those memories that's always stayed with me, because with both of those films, I just had such a good time watching them as a kid. So those are fond memories indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. But a little known fact is that because of Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy wasn't cast in Ghostbusters, because Dan Aykroyd originally wanted Eddie Murphy. What's his name? Who's the big guy? Who was an Uncle Buck? He wanted him, Eddie Murphy, and someone else.
Candy.
Yeah, and originally, but Eddie Murphy went and done Beverly Hills Cop, so they couldn't get Eddie Murphy, and John Candy was, I think he was in trouble with drugs or something. I can't remember, but at the last moment, at the last hour, they ended up with who they ended up with in the end for Ghostbusters. So if it wasn't Beverly Hills Cop, maybe he would have been a Ghostbuster. Who knows?
I often wonder about that, because Ghostbusters was obviously so popular and so hilarious. I'm thinking, would it have been even better and even funnier with Eddie Murphy? I'd like to be in the parallel universe where Eddie Murphy was in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Because
It would have been
so hilarious.
He wanted to be in Star Trek as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He's a huge fan of Star Trek, but they didn't allow him, maybe because he was black. Anyway,
the channel gone down. The channel's gone down. Everybody, the channel's gone down. Cheers, Ian.
He was very nearly in Star Trek 4.
He was.
They just reworked it into Gillian Taylor in the end.
Indeed.
So we've got happy memories of Beverly Hills Cop. I kind of I remember buying the when the VHS videos came out for a tenner. I think that was one of the first ones that I bought, and we played it to death. Such a great film.
He did play on his character a lot in that film, and the reason why it was such a huge success, because he brought a freshness to a character, a policeman, and he brought this freshness to it that you've never seen before. This con man that was also a policeman as well, and plus he came from the streets, so he looked at things very differently. So that's why it works very, very well, in my opinion. Yeah. One of the reasons why I hate the second one is because the second one kind of just trashed the first one. Not literally, obviously, but the first one was about poverty. He came from poverty, he worked for the cops, whatever, and his car couldn't work and stuff. And then the second one, he had all these like flashy things with the car and the glasses, and everything looked spectacular, and they were in, you know what I mean? It just kind of, I don't know, just kind of made
but it was Tony Scott. It's still a good movie. It was the third one that was a disaster. The third one was terrible, but the second one was passable.
John
Landis? It was, yes.
Yeah.
I thought the second one was okay. It was passable, but
it wasn't.
It lost a little bit of heart, I thought. But
it was too flashy. It was too concentrating on things that shouldn't have concentrated on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's the way it goes.
I remember that when Beverly Hills Cop was shown on television, because even as a kid, I was very interested in filmmaking and how films were made, and it was the first time that I actually learned that they would film alternative takes for television broadcast, and I remember the opening scene in the back of the truck, and I couldn't believe it, because it wasn't dubbed. Some of the film was dubbed, but the opening scene in the back of the truck was actually reshot for television at the time, and it was so weird, because I knew the proper version so well that when I watched the TV version, it just felt so odd. I was like,
"Did you not see the title at the bottom of the screen, Keith? It said what is it? Developed for TV. It has the title at the bottom of the screen. When I saw it on TV, it had the title at the bottom saying, "This is developed for TV."
No swearing either.
Yeah. So I remember that vividly when I was watching it on ITV. So that's weird, but they put a title on it saying that exact thing. But there you go.
Cockney, do you like Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah, I'm thinking it was a comedy, but it wasn't like a full out wacky comedy like Police Academy. It was a drama at the same time, so they still had a
Exactly.
shootout and some dramatic moments. So
On
Yeah.
I
20
think
minutes.
some wag in Hollywood since came up with the term dramedy. Not sure I'm down with that, but yeah, it was.
I'd go
it
with
was
that.
a nice. It was a mix of both. It was a delicate balance, and it did it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it got the balance really well. And
If you watch it, it flies by. It's one of those films that you just get into and it just flies by. It doesn't seem to drag. It's just it's just great on every level.
It's the little things though in Beverly Hills Cop that I really like
Music
when he meets I can't remember the girl that was in it. And the way they talk to each other, you can tell they've been friends since childhood, even though they don't say it. If you know what I mean, the way they were interacting with one another.
Jeanette Summers was it? I think.
Yeah. And when she's talking about his moustache and stuff like that, it's those little things that make that film, above the rest of cheap cop movies of the day. If you know what I mean. So. It's those things that I recognise in it that makes it quite good.
Stephen Burkoff was excellent. Very big fan of Stephen Burkoff.
Yeah. This was when he was the peak of being this was him being the peak of the on-screen villain, because he was around this time he was also in Octopussy as a Bond villain, and he's awesome in this.
And also, am I wrong in saying that the guy in Breaking Bad and
correct
Jonathan Banks,
he was in it as
one
well,
of my favorite actors. Yeah.
Oh, he's such a good actor.
Henchmen. Yeah, such a great actor.
He's the one that shot his best friend, isn't it? Shot him in the back of the head. Yeah,
and then he went over the buffet table, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, Eddie Murphy threw him over the buffet table.
And does he roll and sit and do all of that shit?
Yeah.
And then they threw him out the window. So thumbs up, great film. Still great if you watch it today. Yes,
it is. Yep.
I'll have to give it a rewatch.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
It genuinely is a great film. Right, next one then. Let's try this. Ooh.
Oh Jesus!
Keith, you can start this one off, mate.
Oh, it's a guilty pleasure. I love Cobra. I think this film is great.
Meet the Cure.
It was kind of Stallone's take on Dirty Harry, and of course, it does have the lineage with Beverly Hills Cop, because the character was who he was originally going to be when he was developing the script for Beverly Hills Cop. So it kind of came out of that, obviously loosely based on a novel called Fair Game by Paula Gosling, which has also been remade into a film with one of the Baldwin brothers and
Adam, Alec, Billy.
I think it was Adam Baldwin or whatever. It was remade under the title Fair Game. But no, I thought this was, when I was a kid, I really loved. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier, and there's something about the 80s that, it was such a great time, because not only did we have sort of all of everything that came in the sort of tailwind of Star Wars and whatever, but we also had, it was the height of the slasher film. We had all of the Stephen King adaptations. We had loads of great action movies. And the thing is, it was the home video era. So as kids, we got to see loads of films. Yeah. And this was one of them. And I remember I bought this when it came out on VHS to buy as well a few years later. And I mean, I know it's not a particularly good film.
What's the plot? What's the plot about?
Well, he's hired to protect. There's a killer going around, and a model gets basically targeted, who's played by Bridget Nielsen, which was his wife at the time. And he's assigned basically to protect her from this serial killer called the Night Slasher. And it's pretty thin on plot. It does have a connection to Dirty Harry though, because Rennie Santoni is in it, who played Dirty Harry's partner in the original film. And there was always speculation that he was playing the same character.
Nice trivia.
But yeah, whatever. But
Well, someone's done his research.
no, I'm just a bit of a geek on this one because
I think he likes his film.
it.
Also,
Yeah.
You've earned your geek chops there. I'm impressed.
on this one, it's funny you should mention that because the Dirty Harry's boss, the guy that played him, has died recently, hasn't he? You know, the Dirty Harry, his
Hal
boss.
Holbrook.
Oh,
Yeah, he died.
Hal
recently.
Holbrook, yes.
Yeah, he died
Capricorn
recently.
one.
Yeah, a couple
Yes.
of days ago, literally. wasn't it? I
Yes,
think.
yeah. It's a shame.
sadly.
He's a really good actor, really good character actor. Really,
Yeah,
really
no,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Done
it's a
loads of
shame.
good movies. But yeah, and the other thing with this is there was a the soundtrack. There was a score by Sylvester LeVay, who at the time was quite sort of famous for doing the Airwolf theme on the Airwolf TV show, which I was into as a kid as well. So
Same here, mate. Same here.
yeah, so I don't know. I've got fondness for this. As I said, I know it's not one of Stallone's best. It's certainly not as good as Dirty Harry. I'm not even suggesting it is, but it's kind of a fun action movie nonetheless. And I enjoyed it. So there you go. Crime is a disease. Meet the cure.
I think
Yeah,
this film's a
but-
crime.
Hey, gothic music is a disease. Meet the
You did
Cure.
not like it then, Ian.
Nah, I thought it was absolute rubbish.
I
personally.
can't remember of it. I can't
I
remember.
never
it,
saw
to be
it.
fair.
I just thought Sylvester Stallone running around, trying to look cool in every shot, just really got on my wick. The whole thing.
John
It
Wick.
was yeah, exactly. He's always wearing glasses, even when he goes into a dark place. He's and he's that stupid
I wear my
matchstick out of
sunglasses
his
at
mouth,
night.
and
Did
I
he
can
have a black
defend that,
car?
though. I can defend that because,
Yeah, there
in
we go.
fairness, I know
Here we go,
someone who
boys.
had those sunglasses, and they
You.
actually have a clear bit in the middle so that you can wear them indoors. So,
Jesus.
but
Was it you, Keith?
it's
it wasn't
I just-
me. No, I didn't. I
I
couldn't
just-
afford them. They were Ray Bans. They were bloody
Yeah, they
well
were.
All right,
expensive.
okay.
I just didn't like the movie. I thought he was him just kind of trying to be Clint Eastwood, trying to be as cool as he can. But the film
Yeah.
was just nonsense. I didn't even like the action in it, basically. But anyway, that's just me. I'm
Yeah,
sure a
no, I
lot
got
of
that
people liked
impression.
it.
I got
Yeah.
exactly the same impression. Admittedly, I didn't see it, but that's seemed like it might as well called it Stallone goes on a big ego trip.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it because, as I said, that's what I thought he was doing. He's just literally, a big
When-
ego.
when-
Just
When I was a kid, I didn't even really know what ego trips were. I just enjoyed the film. So yeah, whatever. But yeah.
I kind of remember that I was massively disappointed with it because obviously coming off First Blood and stuff like that and Rocky, I just thought, nah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I mean,
after
this is in
Rambo.
the same quality as those.
he was losing his
agree.
popularity I think at that point, but also it was it the Canon people that made this film?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not very good at teaming up with because they slash your budget when you've agreed to do
They
it.
ruined Superman
Yeah.
4 as we.
Well,
Yeah.
It was that film was gonna be ruined anyway, let's face it. But they weren't crooks, but they were kind of a
Yeah.
bit of a con men as far as
Yeah.
I saw the documentary. Did you see the documentary on the Canon people, Keith?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was very interesting. In fact, there's and as a sort of companion piece to that, there's also a documentary on the Carol Co. people who were the other
Oh,
ones
wow.
that Stallone had really good success with. With obviously Rambo and stuff. And
Right.
it's kind of funny because they do say how they were kind of the opposite of one another. The Carol Co. Group, threw lots of money at stuff and gave directors complete control, whereas the Canon Group, always cut the budget for everything and interfered creatively. So yeah, it's quite interesting, and they were around the same sort of time. So yeah,
Yeah. But yeah.
Move on, yeah.
Move on, gladly. Move on.
Oh, come on,
RoboCop. RoboCop is I have fond memories of watching RoboCop and laughing at the violence while I was in the cinema. A lot of people laughed at the violence. I mean, I can't believe a lot of people take the violence seriously in this film. And I remember at the time they were saying, this is porn violence, and this film should be banned and all that rubbish. But I just found it hilarious most of the time, especially when I shot his hand off. I thought, it didn't look real at all. Why would anyone take this seriously? But it's a good film.
I think people missed the satirical point of the whole film, and especially when it was made, it was at the height of consumerism. So it was massively a satire
Reagan.
of that. Yeah, absolutely.
I heard
again, though, the first film's good, but everything else is rubbish. It follows.
So much. I heard a rumor that RoboCop came out of a failed attempt to bring Judge Dredd onto the screen.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's true, but it feels true, because even looking at the poster, it does look like a bit of a knockoff Judge Dredd.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Message from Krual Birab. ITV censored it. When he goes, "You're going to be a bad motherfucker."
Yeah, they did.
Mother Crusher.
Yeah, they did. ITV censored a lot of films in those days. But I like RoboCop because RoboCop was this film, and Starship Troopers was taking the piss out of the Americans, and the Americans didn't realize how much Van Hooven was literally taking the piss out of them. And if you look closely at RoboCop, there's all these jokes in there that just literally takes the piss out of the Americans, basically. And it's very clever that
cheeky
way.
Dutch.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's a great filmmaker, and this film was so nicely done, and I loved it when it came out on DVD. You got to see the full uncut, uncensored
the extra bit,
where Ed 209 really goes nuts on that guy.
Yeah. But the thing that always puzzles me is the ending when the guy falls out of the window and his arms grow 10 feet long. You ever not noticed that?
Yeah, there was a documentary about that. Apparently,
just about the arms.
The doll.
Long arm of the law.
No, the arms were correct, but he said something to do with the camera, the lens, kind of distorted it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The arms were the right length, but his body was too short, and so were his legs.
Yeah.
I know, it's such a shame, because I think RoboCop is a masterpiece. For me, it's top 3. I just think it's amazing. Of all the films I like, RoboCop is top 3. I just think it's incredible.
There's things that I can never get out of my head, like the bit where the acid falls on the guy, and the bit where they pull in the main guy and he spits on the thing and says, "Give me my goddamn phone call." Those little bits that they don't leave my mind.
All improvised. That was.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course. Yeah. And that black guy that was laughing, he wasn't meant to do that, but when he did it, I think Van Hooven liked it, so they just kept it. He just kept laughing all the time, the black guy. So that's all improvised as well.
I just think all the people who were involved, like Rob Bottin doing all the special effects, amazing. Just it was very individual parts coming together to make an absolutely amazing film. I've got so many happy memories of watching RoboCop when I was 19 in the cinema. I just, as soon as I saw, Ed 209 doing his stuff, I just thought, what the fuck? I was just like, amazing. I just love it.
I just thought that was really funny, that scene where Ed 209 malfunctions and kills that guy, shoots him to bits.
20 seconds to
Mr.
comply.
Kinney.
Yeah. And what's the line he said? Oh, that's just a glitch.
You call this a glitch?
Yeah. That kind of humor, but the Americans took it too seriously. It is quality. It's great.
No, actually, Mr. Brown, you have, thinking about it, you have done quite a good job with this list, because
thank you, Keith.
No, but what's nice is you've kind of picked stuff that's you know, when people think of cop movies, they always think of something that's, you know, or often just think of, you know,
Lethal Weapon,
the
cop by the
standard,
car chase.
the standard sort of thing. Whereas you're looking at the bigger picture with the cross genre and all that sort of stuff, and you know, putting in there some comedy and some sci-fi and all of that sort of stuff. Works, and obviously the clue's in the title of this one, of course.
Yeah,
RoboCop does exactly what it says on the tin.
Technically,
but
yeah,
the thing
it is a buddy movie.
I just realised he's not a robot; he's a fucking cyborg.
He is, yeah.
Cyborg cop, isn't it? He's part human. Cyborg cop. Oh,
they were never able to. They were never able to recapture the magic, were they? You know, with sequels and series
that's
and
because
remakes.
They wanted to make it more palatable to a bigger audience, so
that was number 3. That was
well, no, even the second one they brought down a bit of the violence in the second one as well. And it was written by Frank Miller, as I remember. Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
But Frank Miller's original screenplay was much more harder than because they dumbed it down. So
it was directed by Irvin Kershner as well.
It was
his last film.
Yeah.
Is it?
I have watched both recently, and number 2 isn't as bad as I remember. The music still leaves a bitter taste.
They should put that on a poster. Not as bad as I remember.
I think at the time everybody was so hyped because of the original RoboCop. I think we had very, very high expectations.
I had the gun. I brought the gun and I lost it. I lost it on sets. Yeah. But another thing about
the gun.
Yeah, I lost it. I brought because they had a replica gun in those days. You could buy the RoboCop gun. The actual gun that RoboCop had is a specialized gun, and in those days you could buy BB guns. You know,
it was a converted. It was a 3-shot Beretta converted Beretta.
But whatever it was, I brought it and then I lost it. I had it on set because we were and then somebody lost it. I was so annoyed.
Ian, someone nicked it.
Yes, definitely somebody nicked it. But
replica guns are tight.
Weapons Wrangler. What can we say?
Yeah.
I've got a. Speaking of science fiction cop films, Blade Runner. I've got a replica Rick Deckard blaster.
Oh, cool!
Oh, wow, how cool is that?
Is that the one that Customs nearly took off you?
Yeah, well, thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett, because apparently in the United States you're not allowed to import replica guns, only real ones. So Burnett was kind enough to go on Twitter saying, "I can't get this gun. Someone else have it." I was like, "Right, I'm having that." But yeah, I got mullered on the tax, 25% import tax, but it was worth it. Little red lights on it and everything. It's my pride and joy of my silly toy collection.
Yeah.
Could we just say that Peter Weller nailed it for this?
Oh, big time.
He did, and the best thing about RoboCop is if you're a kid and you watch this, first of all, you're going to love all the violence as a kid, because in those days, if you see a violent film like that, it's like a badge of honor. Secondly, all I wanted was a RoboCop toy. Do you know what I mean? Because he looked so cool, you know, and he did things like his leg opened up and there was the gun, and you know, he could fire. You know, he has all those things in his
practical
eyes.
effects as well.
Yeah, and you know, when I saw it, I said, Jesus, that it'd be really cool to own a RoboCop toy. I was looking for it, then I found the gun and I brought the gun instead.
And then lost it.
And then lost it. Yeah, damn it. Yeah.
They did make.
If anyone out there has seen the RoboCop gun, please send it back in to Mega Geek.
But also, another little thing that is not well known, but maybe Keith knows it because he's a geek like me, is that they used the RoboCop gun in Sin City in the actual movie itself.
I did not know that.
So if you look closely, one of them has the RoboCop gun. But then again,
maybe it was yours.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But Frank Miller actually drew the RoboCop gun in the comic, if you look closely. So that's why they got the RoboCop gun. So there you go.
All right,
Ian, would you ever give a film 10 out of 10?
I gave E.T. The only film I've given 10 out of 10 is E.T. I actually think that's a masterpiece.
Right. What about you, Cockney?
Oh, no, you've asked. Don't get me started. I don't do numbers. I'll tell you what. What I really can't stand is when people give half numbers. I give it 7 3/4. No, out of 10 means you've got 10 options. That's it. I give it 5.864. No, I don't do numbers. call me binary. It's 1 or 0.
Okay.
Or actually, maybe I'll do like 3, maybe up to 3 3 stars. Buy it, 2 stars. Watch it if it's on. 1 star avoid, and then if you include 0, which obviously gives you 4 options, avoid at all costs. So no, I don't do numbers. I just
Sounds more complicated.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
no.
It does.
But,
What
but
about
yeah,
you,
they
Keith?
have. No numbers. No.
40. What about you, Keith?
Yeah. I mean, I would grade this quite high out of 10 for sure. I mean, I agree with what you said. The what was definitely missing in the second one was the music by Basil
Straight away,
Poldrus.
straight away, straight
Because
away.
that theme was really sort of, you identified it with the character, and then obviously not bringing that back felt a bit weird.
I
Yeah,
just
watching
can't
the
believe
second one.
what were they thinking. I just can't get my head around it.
Maybe they couldn't get hold of him, the guy. Who knows? I don't know. It does happen.
Yeah, it might have been a budget thing or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I like the comedy Spaced that they did a reference to RoboCop when they had their it was more Robot Wars, the actual parody in that episode, but they referenced the RoboCop when they're basically the POV from RoboCop knocking on the screen. So that makes it iconic.
Cruel Berab. There was a whole host of merchandise and games and spin-offs.
Merchandising.
As I said, going back to movie scores, I would give this. I don't give many movies 10 out of 10. I would give this 10 out of 10. It's not perfect.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9.876.
If I could give it 9.95, I'd give it 9.95.
Literally marking it out of
It's
1,000.
for me. I very of its time. So many happy memories. It still stands up well even today, and I love Paul Verhoeven films. I just think they're amazing.
I mean, I purchased the DVD just a couple of weeks ago, so I guess under my own system that gives it 3 out of 3. Although I'm I'm breaking my own rule. 2.5 out of 3. I bought it, but it's not. I bought the DVD. It's not my primo. Must be a Blu-ray super. Yeah, I'm not a super big fan of it, but I look forward to rewatching it. I arguably should have done that before the show, but never mind.
Although I think I would have preferred to watch the director's cut at the cinema at the time, but
yeah, see, that's one of the reasons I bought the DVD. It's a slightly extended version. So
I don't think it's all that bad
extra
actually. I can't understand why they've kind of just dumbed it down.
Also, one of the best things about this RoboCop, the first one, is that you really did feel for Murphy, because when he discovered who he was and he went to visit his home and he had all those memories come flooding back. That was one of the dimensions that made RoboCop quite good.
Strong female lead as well. Strong female lead. Nancy Allen.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. So it kind of humored him, and also, as I said, you felt for him, and he was he just wanted justice, but he also wanted his old life back. But towards the end of the film, he realized he couldn't get that back. So
well, when they go
machine, then man.
When the old man goes at the end, "What's your name, son?" and he goes, "Murphy." Yes, get in.
Yeah, but the remake was
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the
I thought no, actually, the remake wasn't terrible. It was just another take on it. But
it needed to be R-rated.
I think they missed the point, though. Yeah. I really felt they missed the point with the remake.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. I think that the remake doesn't have the heart that this one has. As I said, that whole thing about him discovering who he was and stuff like that. Because in the remake, they told him who he was. And he wanted to see his wife and all that. But with this one, they re-erased his brain, didn't they? So he didn't know who he was.
They did.
And when he was discovering who he was, that's when you felt sorry for him. So there you go.
Yeah. They also made some TV movies which were pretty bad. I remember
they weren't allowed to kill anybody.
Yeah,
and a series and a TV series.
Before that. Yeah,
terrible, absolutely awful. I remember
Friendly Cop.
The advert for the second one where the guy was smoking and then RoboCop shoots around his head.
Yeah.
And it says, no smoking. And they used that. They used that on the adverts for the cinemas. Don't smoke in the cinema, didn't they? So yeah, interesting.
So we love RoboCop. Yeah,
we do.
Oh, for sure.
Quite like it.
Yeah, great film.
3.78, 5.6 out of 4.
9.95. Next, Bear with me. Watch the technology go wrong. Which it is. There we go.
Oh, scrolling picture.
Lethal Weapon, one of my
Yeah.
favorite cop movies of all time. Great
too.
screenplay, great performance by both of them. Action, it just kept coming, and a great climax.
Like me.
Dislocate
What can
shoulder.
you say? Yeah, well, no, that was the second one.
Oh, was it bugger?
Yeah. What can I say about Lethal Weapon? I enjoyed it immensely and thought it was a very unique cop movie, personally. And again, it's one of those things where you feel sorry for Riggs because his wife had died, and there's that scene where he's going to commit suicide in his thing, and it has all those nice little bits in there. And I really love the idea that he's kind of an ultimate cop, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's good at shooting, he's good at fighting, but he's just lost. That's all. And I love the scene where he runs down the road after when they come out where what's his name's getting tortured, and they bust out that place, and the car starts going. He just runs down the road after it. So yeah, I really love that film.
Gary Busey was a great villain as well.
Yeah, good movie.
Director?
Richard Donner.
Richard Donner, my favorite.
Yeah. Great director.
Yeah, really, really good. I said the lines are
It's a bad
terrific in there as
monster.
well. I'm too old for this shit was one of them.
Yeah.
Which I say regularly these days because of my
I'm
age.
old enough to start
Yeah.
using that now. I'm too old for this shit.
Shit.
Yeah. Cockney, do you like it?
Yeah, it was right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
right.
It was
It was
a
all right.
drama with a bit of comedy, so you could almost draw a line like Police Academy, Beverly Hills Cop, and then Lethal Weapon because they did
Great
get
score as well.
sillier and more comedy. That's what the bad guys said. They got sillier as they went along. So it was the
Yeah, they
strongest
did.
one in
They-
terms of drama, but it had it wasn't a comedy per se, but they had good banter and a couple of funny moments. It was the first one where he was stuck on the toilet, wasn't it?
No, that was
No, the
three.
second one.
That was the
Second
second
one.
See, I blurred them into my mind. Oh,
What I'm saying is
dear.
the first and the second one were good. The third one's
Yeah, I
absolute
agree with that.
bollocks.
Got
Yeah,
too
so
silly.
the first two were terrific. I mean, the second one was more lighter than the first one.
Yeah.
But if you look at the uncut version of the second one, that's very, very violent, especially the
But I
fight at the
think-
ending.
I don't think I've seen
I
it.
think it faced one of the great philosophical questions of our times. Is it on 3 or after 3? Because to this day,
Yes.
people go, right, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
Well, you clearly count to 4, aren't you? So,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. So that's just me.
Keith,
Yeah.
you like it? Yes.
Yeah, I love these. I had them on. I had a VHS set
Yeah, I
back
have
in
them as
the
well.
day with these. The second one was the first one I saw at the cinema. I saw the first one on VHS. I actually really loved the first 3 films. I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of Lethal Weapon 4. I
Oh,
think
God, yeah. it's awful.
I
Didn't even
think
see
that
that
they
one.
kind of missed the point of the characters in the fourth
Is that the one
film.
with Jet Li?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the problem I had with it was obviously when Danny Glover was cast in the first one, he was actually a lot younger than the character he was playing. Yeah. But by the time they got to the fourth one, they kind of ignored that. So
Yes.
you suddenly had him sort of, Danny Glover's a guy in great shape, yeah. But in the earlier ones, they had the joke about him being, slightly overweight and all of this sort of stuff. But then in the fourth one, in the opening scene, he's running around in his boxer shorts with like a 6-pack and no grey in his hair, and Mel Gibson's got a haircut and I just sort of thought, oh, it doesn't feel like the characters from the first 3 films. For me, it just didn't work. I
He
thought
needed
Tank
the mullet.
wasn't there on
Yes.
the fourth one,
Yeah.
but and they're talking about doing
Oh.
another one now, aren't they? So
I know.
but-
Also, if you want to be pedantic like that, another thing that really bothered me about the actual series of themselves is that Riggs was an expert at martial arts in the first one. Then when it came to the second one, he was fighting all those Chinese guys. He wasn't very good. It's like he didn't know any martial arts. So it's little things like that bothered me when it came to the sequels. And as Keith says, he was meant to be retiring Danny Glover's character in the first one.
Murtaugh.
And it was his 50th birthday, wasn't it, in the first one? and then suddenly he's still there.
Oh, he's
off
a
the
young
fourth
man.
film.
It was a South African for the
That's the second one.
Yeah,
The second
with
one, yeah.
Patsy Kensit.
Patsy Kensit. Yeah, it was lovely.
And was it
Yeah.
Joss Ackland?
Joss Ackland, that's right. Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, I think the first two in particular
great
are really good.
Love the first
The
two.
third one was fun for what it was, but as I said, by the time they got to the fourth one, for me, they'd lost the magic. Even though it was exactly the same actors and same director and same team, it had lost something by that point. You know, because that was some 12 years later as well. So
It was, yes.
you know, they really didn't
Lost
play
the
on that age
momentum.
thing.
So
I love the is it the second one with the rubber joke when the daughter makes that commercial?
the rubber commercial. Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
when I was in the cinema, the whole of the audience just screamed with laughter with that scene, and I thought it was very, very funny myself. Even now, when I think about it, I laugh as well. So, yeah, that's the second one's really good. I thought the second one was good.
Cockney, do you laugh?
I never laugh. I just nod and go, I can see why that was funny. Yes. Laughter is an alien concept to me.
How
It's
do you
funny.
think number 5 is going to go down if they make it?
Like a
Well-
Led Zeppelin.
Well, the thing is, if they address their age and don't introduce new characters into it to try and make another version of it, if they just address their age and concentrate on their characters and do a really good thriller with some real danger in it, I think it will work. But knowing them, they probably won't. Probably go down more of the comedy route and be very, very silly. But that's what
Yeah.
I think.
It's funny. It's one of those. I've got a few franchise of films where, for me, I consider them like a trilogy, even though they've made more films.
Yeah.
This is one of them. Die Hard is definitely another one where, and Indiana Jones. You know, it's like the three films are
at three.
great, and then the fourth is like, no,
Yeah.
for me.
Star Wars, another one, arguably. Cap it at 3.
Yeah. No,
So,
you're right.
Thumbs up, yes.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah,
Lethal
it's a
Weapon.
great film.
Yeah, I'll
the
give
fight
it
at the end.
2.768 out of 6.9.
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
9 for sure. The only mistake in it's the bit where they where he jumps off the roof with,
Oh, yeah.
with the guy,
Yeah.
and you
Oh,
see
yeah,
the
yeah,
handcuffs break, and then when they land, the handcuffs are done up
Yeah.
again.
But
They
that was
fix
that,
that digitally now, wouldn't they?
that was a great scene though, because they deliberately not show you the crash mat that they were going to jump in, didn't they? So it looks like when they leap off, you think, what the, he's going to die, but obviously they show you the crash mat that they land on. But there's some really
Shane
terrific
Black's
scenes in that
script
film.
was incredible. Shane Black's script for that first film was really, really good. Really well written. Yeah.
It was, and as I said, all the action in that film made the audience whoop, and especially when I first saw it, it would a packed audience. It's just the idea that you can teach a bad guy that's killed loads of people a lesson, like that big fight at the ending when Riggs takes on that guy. It's just a scene that you just kind of go, yeah, beat the crap out of him, Riggs. It's a really good scene. But anyway,
did you ever see the when it came out on DVD and then later Blu-ray? There was an extended version of the first
I saw
film.
it. Yep, I
Yeah,
saw it.
it's quite interesting because it's where he goes in the school and rescues all the kids. And
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Is it good? Is it good?
Yeah, it is. It's good. I mean, the film works without it.
Yes.
The theatrical cut works just fine, but seeing that director's cut and seeing some new footage,
When he takes the prostitute home. Remember that bit?
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
He takes the prostitute home, and all he wants to do is just sit there with her and watch cartoons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did it still work?
Watch the Three Stooges or whatever. Yeah.
Did it still work, the extended cut?
I think so.
Yeah, it did. It did.
But it works without it as well.
That's
So
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, great film. Yeah. Great cop movie.
Absolutely.
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Thumbs up.
Solid good.
Right. Let's hope the technology doesn't let me down.
Solid movie. Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash is
Another
is one of
guilty pleasure.
my guilty pleasure movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is so bad you have to like it.
Yeah. yeah. Again, it's. Let's be honest, it's not a good movie, but those two are so charismatic in it and have such a good chemistry together, and it's just fun. I remember thinking this was just awesome.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Terry Hatcher was in it as well, wasn't she?
She was lovely.
Ding
Yeah.
dong.
She was cast at the last moment, though, wasn't she? She was cast. I can't remember the original actress. They shot with this
That's
original
right,
actress,
yeah.
and then they pulled it last because something happened, and then they dragged in Terry Hatcher.
Was
That
this
is
before she was on? This would have been before she was on Star Trek.
Or Terry Hatcher was on Superman, wasn't she?
Terry
She was-
Hatcher was on one episode of TNG series.
I
one.
don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I can't. Do you know who the original
Desperate
actress was?
Vulcans.
Keith?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to look it up now because yes, I remember that story, but I don't actually remember who it was. So
It was someone well known. I know that.
yes, it
but I
was.
can't
It
remember
was
who
someone well known, but I can't
Marilyn
remember.
Monroe.
No.
For a time.
Cockney, have you seen this?
I never saw it. It was kind of like with Cobra. Even at the time, I just thought it looks like a self-parody. But now I'd be curious about it. See, look, get it on Blu-ray. I think I might. Just to-
Yeah,
do you
Cruel
know-
Beer, I've seen it.
It's
Hail
one of
Cruel.
those. It's one of those films as well that I always thought Harold Faltermeyer, he did the Beverly Hills Cop theme. He did a really good score for this, and it's never been available. You've never been able to buy the score, which
all right.
always
Yeah.
annoyed me.
Well, isn't there a line where Sylvester Stallone says Rambo was a
Harold
pussy?
Faltermeyer.
Yes, yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot of self-reference, meta stuff going on in it. Yeah,
Meta humor from the Stallone Meister.
And it's another one of those films that if you
56.
watch the trailer, quite a lot of the scenes in the trailer weren't actually in the film. It's very odd. If you
Oh,
watch the
don't like
trailer,
that.
half of the trailer
I
is
gave you
different
one
from
job,
the film.
trailer. Advertise the film.
I can't remember. I know
Like
I've seen
Rogue
it.
One.
I can't remember anything about it. What's the plot again, then, Keith?
Well, they're
There's
two
some
sort of rival
baddies.
cops. So, Tango is I think he works at the sort of Beverly Hills office of Los Angeles, and he's a bit of a yuppie. He's very well dressed.
Is he the orange one?
And all of
Which
that.
one's
And then-
Tango?
yeah, he's Ray
The best
Tango,
Stallone.
and then Gabriel Cash is Kurt Russell, and he works in like the downtown office, and he's a bit more rough and ready and whatever. And basically, they get framed by a crime boss played by Jack Palance, and they get sent to prison, and they have to do a sort of prison break, which is interesting because he did a film called Lockup around this time as well. Stallone did, and they have to do a prison break, and they end up, they hate each other to start with, but they end up, becoming buddy. It's a buddy cop movie, and it's really silly, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
It's a lot of fun.
yeah.
I must say there was what everyone. Bit of a side note, but that comedy Men Behaving Badly. And there's one where one of the ladies having an argument with her boyfriend. She goes, "Oh, what are you going to watch? Cop Buddy Car Chase 2?" And then, ever since then, I think I've not been able to enjoy cop films so much because I'm like, yeah, it is. It's Cop Buddy Car Chase. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But there's a line in a Cobra Kai where they mention it, don't they? When Daniel and Johnny's driving in
Yeah,
the car.
Johnny's into all
his
this,
wife,
yeah.
and the wife says, "Who do you think you are, Tango and Cash?" And then I think
Hey.
who's it? Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny says they were narcotic agents. We're not narcotic agents. I think that's what he says. So yeah, it's a line.
You go. It got into the pop culture. Great.
That's right.
Love it.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
now need a Rambo film to reference Cobra Kai, which references Tango and Cash, which references Rambo. It'll be a full meta circle jerk.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that.
So, you two guys on the bottom, you like it. Me and
Yeah.
Cockney can't really remember it.
Cockney and
Remember
I.
it,
No, you weren't there.
Sorry,
I can't
Cockney
remember
and
because I
I.
never saw it. There's nothing to remember.
Right.
I mean, I know it exists, but not in my memory. But one day I'll see it, maybe.
It's another
So-
one that always gets heavily edited for violence when it's shown on television, or when it used to be shown on network television back in the day. But yeah.
You
So
imagine
it's-
one day
it's-
that they'll probably edit films to add more. This film is certified not violent enough, so we added some more gratuitous violence.
But you know what? These days they don't edit. They edit films to take out stuff that doesn't match with today, or they stop films from.
Oh,
It's
well, there's
really
some
weird,
very
isn't it?
politically incorrect statements
Yeah.
in this film, which
Well, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying, and they should leave it alone because it was created for a time.
Yeah, it's
They
of
shouldn't-
its time.
Yeah, they shouldn't go.
Police sorry,
On 1 hour.
But yeah,
Yeah.
put on double self-interruption stop on 1 hour.
You interrupted
Academy-
yourself.
Yeah, in hindsight, I was going to let it go, but I'll jump in. I'll start so I'll finish. Police Academy, in hindsight, some of the jokes could be seen as a bit homophobic.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it was of its time. It was meant in a harmless way. It could
Hmm.
be, but yeah, that's the bottom line. Even if it is offensive, keep it in. Otherwise, we're just going to be chopping up everything. Where
Yeah.
does it end?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've already re-edited Splash, the Disney film
Ugh.
Splash.
Mm.
Re-edited it and just taken out all the stuff they
They
considered.
covered her bum.
They did, yes, they
That was the
did.
best part of the film.
Yeah, I must admit, I do have a problem with this in film. I don't think you should be changing
Shit.
stuff.
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
What do I
You
know?
still get Triumph for the Will. That's literally a Nazi film. What do they do? Cut the whole thing down to nothing?
Don't know. This
Oh,
film
wow.
I've only seen once.
Yes,
Yeah, I love-
connoisseur's choice.
I only seen it
Wow.
once.
Yeah, no,
It's
I've
a
not
great
seen
film.
it recently, but I remember it at the time.
John
I liked
Badham.
it, Yeah, John
I remember
Badham.
the flip
Good
phone.
mate.
It
I love
was,
Green
it was it was okay. I thought the humor didn't work for me. It was amusing. It was light as far as I was concerned, and it was just okay. I would never put it in the top 10 of best cop movies, put it that way, but it was okay. You know what this film was like? It was like the other one with Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro did a similar thing.
Right.
You remember that film, Keith?
Oh, what the one that Shatner was in?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was kind of similar story, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, what was that called? I'm just trying to think what it was called. Oh, yeah. I know the film you mean. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah.
This
Eddie Murphy was an actor, and he wanted to know how to be a real cop because he was going to be in a show. And it's the same story with this as well. He was going to do a feature film where he was a
oh,
cop.
so
And
it's
he was
like
basing it
reversed. Yeah.
yeah, it was basing it on James Woods' character in the film. So yeah,
That's
it's kind of the
right.
same thing. Yeah.
The main baddie on this one was the guy out of Avatar. You know the
Yeah,
the silver
yeah.
Stephen. I forget his second name. He
Cigar?
was the
Spielberg.
no, it's not him. The grey-haired baddie in
yeah, I know the
Avatar
one
who
you
went
mean.
around.
Yeah.
Who went around killing everything.
If you haven't got cuffs in this list, I'll be very disappointed.
Well, you know what, mate?
And we haven't got Stakeout.
Showtime is the film.
Should
That's
I-
it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Did I not ask you, Ian, this morning to send me to fire over a couple of?
Mate, I was working. You know I'm working, so it's hard for
He's
me
a
to.
busy man. He's got a 22-second
so-
promo to get out. And
That's
then in
right.
his spare time, he's got to watch Black Hawk Down.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
but no,
don't
you're,
rub it-
you're right. I should have sent you a list, but as I said, I didn't really have the time. It was either send you a list or not watch Banshee, and I chose to watch Banshee. So
Well
there
done.
you go.
I'll forgive you, mate. I'll forgive you.
That's a good advert for Banshee
is
right there.
amazing. Yeah, Banshee. is
Stephen
worth it.
Lang was the actor.
That's the fella. Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest though, this film I've not seen in a long time, so I
Yeah.
don't really remember much about it. I remember thinking it was fine, but I couldn't tell you too much about it. I like all the people involved, so maybe I'll give it another try at some point.
Yeah. I
First
just remember the
time-
flip phone.
First time I saw it, I'd come back from an all-nighter, if you know what I mean.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, I think it
Still
was
buzzing. Couldn't find the video games.
It was
popped
on.
the hard
It was.
way.
It was on Sky. Went back to my mate's house, and it was on Sky, and I just loved every minute of it.
It was Michael J. Fox was riding high in those days, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, yeah.
Big Fox.
Yeah, I mean, I think the film he did before did he do that one with The Office? Remember, I can't remember what that was called, where he
The
infiltrated the
Secret
office.
of My Success.
Yeah, did he do that before this movie or
I
or
think
what?
so. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Teen
The
Wolf,
Secret
is
of
it
My
after
Success
Teen
was
Wolf?
late
During?
80s.
Then he did Doc Hollywood, which was amusing as well.
Yeah, Dark Hollywood.
Yeah, Teen
Yeah.
Wolf.
Teen Wolf. Penis at the end.
Right.
Yeah, I did like Teen Wolf though. I got to admit, it was one of
very
my
silly.
guilty pleasures. It's very silly. Yeah.
I were a teenage was wolf.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like that, isn't it? So, but yeah, I can't say much. Oh, Heat. Now, there's a
Now,
cop
there's a film.
movie. There's
It's a
film.
remake of LA Takedown. Is that right?
It was.
Pop
It
trivia.
is.
Yeah.
Cockney, do you want to go first on this one?
No, that's all I got. It's a remake of LA Takedown.
Have you seen it though?
You plum.
I don't know. It's all blurring in now. Yeah, I have. Well, it just goes to show how you can change a film with two top actors. I think the actors carried it. I don't think it was that great of a film, but obviously Pacino, De Niro, can't go wrong, can you?
The first, I think it was the first time they were on screen together. I think.
Yeah, it was.
It
yeah.
was. It was.
Mm. Just on that alone, I literally wanted to go and see it because these two powerhouses was in the film, and Robert De Niro, in my opinion, acted Al Pacino off the screen. Robert De Niro's performance in the film was absolutely solid and spot on as that character, in my opinion. He was a very lonely chap. The thing I like about this film is the character development. The Robert De Niro character. He was lonely, wasn't he? He had no one. Do you know what I mean? Because of what he did, and then he found love, didn't he? In that film. So it was all that character development that I really loved. I loved the Val Kilmer. He was the one that I think he was was he a gambler? Wasn't he?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things wrong with him. Al Pacino was playing it over the top as always, but he was still good.
Yeah.
Did you see this in the cinema?
Yes, I did.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I
went to see it again a couple of years back. It was re-released in a new 4K transfer for showing at the BFI, and I went to see it on the big screen again. But yeah, I mean, I love it. It's Michael Mann. I'm a big fan of his work in general. And yeah, this is one of the greats. This film is just amazing.
One of the best shootouts in a film you'd ever see. Great shootout, and the sound effects was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, that was what was great about that bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great movie.
What was the Alicia Silverstone? What was her breakout movie?
Legally Blonde. No, it wasn't Legally Blonde. It was
Clueless.
Clueless. Yeah.
I was going out with a girl from Wolverhampton at the time, and we went to the cinema, and the choice was Clueless or Heat.
You went to see Clueless?
Boy film, girl film.
Correct, Ian.
You went to see Clueless. There's not bad Clueless.
That's love for you, mate.
I loved Clueless. I thought she was really cute in that movie.
Well, your girlfriend
to be fair, it was
you really wanted to see Clueless, Brown.
Well, I just went with the missus. She wanted to see Clueless.
I thought she wanted to see Heat. Come on, darling, I want to see Clueless.
Love. That's what you do.
But yeah, he made the fatal mistake by coming back, didn't he, Robert De Niro? And the girl that he was in love with begged him not to go back, but he just couldn't help it. He had to go back and, try and make things right. When he went to that hotel room and he shot that guy, that double crossed them, stuff like that. Yeah. That's what's sad about the film, is that he literally got away with it, but he just couldn't let it go. And that was the flaw in his character, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Al Pacino's character knew it. He was just waiting. So yeah, it's a great movie. I love the ending as well.
I kind of liked they had mutual respect for each other, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And at the ending, when he holds his hand when he's dying, you can tell that he was really sad that it came to that conclusion. But as Robert De Niro said, he was never going back to jail. He was, that was what he wanted. If everything all else fails, he was going to die. That was it.
It's a very long film.
Yeah, it is.
But does it fly by?
I was going to say, it doesn't feel like a long film.
No, it doesn't.
Even though it is, but yeah, it's 3 hours.
Bubba was in it, wasn't he? From Forrest Gump, he was in it, and he looked very different because I didn't realize it was him until halfway through the movie. Because when you see him in Forrest Gump, you're like, huh? And then when you see him in this, he's completely different. So there you go.
I've just noticed your screenshot is actually someone's poster. You can see a little bit of a shadow under it.
Yeah,
It's on the right hand side.
It is.
Yeah.
It's from a poster shop. Right.
Oh, right.
So,
You the pins.
Masterpiece.
I would go as far as say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. For me, it's one of, Michael Mann. I always struggle between this and Manhunter as to whether it's his best film. So, although there's a lot of good films to choose from in that filmography. So, but this is amazing. Yeah.
I'll give it a solid 7 out of 50.
It is a great film. It is a great film. Right.
is
Okay. Hopefully the technology will behave. Bear with me.
Here we go.
Another
We
good film.
are leaping a few years.
I didn't like this film at all.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I preferred the is it the Korean version? I saw the Korean version before. I
Yeah.
saw this.
Infernal Affairs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I prefer that than this one. I just thought that they really played up on who they were. You know, Jack Nicholson really played up on who he was, and and Matt Damon, the same thing with was it Leo as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just couldn't. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you on that
I'm
one.
not-
I'm with you with the.
Go on, Courtney.
I can't quite articulate the. I don't know, but yeah, I got the same thing. Like looking at the actors, the poster. I think I actually got Internal Affairs. I got it in my Blu-ray collection of things I haven't seen yet. But yeah, I'm no same one. Don't know. Skip.
Do you think it was overrated then, Cockney?
Well, if I saw it, I'd be able to tell you. But yeah, probably.
You are hard.
From
work
what I've seen of
sometimes, you know
it,
that.
which is nothing. I've not done a lot. Well, you've not picked my favourite genre, have you? So I'm doing my best.
if it was Blade Runner, you'd be all over it.
Yeah,
I know.
But the thing is,
I know.
I'm not a huge fan. Well, it's the opposite of Mel Gibson. I don't like the person, but I like his acting. Where Leonardo DiCaprio, I like him as a person, but I just don't like his screen presence. I mean, I know everyone else does. I don't. He's perpetually looking 15 to me. I can't get past. It's Leo. Look, it's Leo DiCaprio. He's going to get offset, find his next 19-year-old girlfriend, have a nice time. Every time I see him on screen, that's all I can think about. Probably just jealousy.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my review.
What do you reckon, Keith?
Sorry.
I love it, but I'll be honest, I've not actually seen it for some time, so it's one of those that I could do with revisiting
Watching again,
because I never remember anything anymore. And of course, it was made in 2006 when
I know
when
you're quite encyclopedic, really. You know, all
The
your
bit
stuff
at the
there.
end is a bit of a shocker when
Yeah,
it
it
comes out of
is.
the lift. It's
But
like,
they had the three actors that they keep saying that they keep confusing them. They're Matt Damon and who's
Matt
the other guy?
Damon?
Wahlberg. Wahlberg is in there as
Wahlberg.
well.
I have to
Is
say,
it? Oh, that's
this
why
was
it's
when
the
I realised
trifecta.
Mark Wahlberg was a good actor when I saw this film.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. yeah.
That's why I cannot stand Mark Wahlberg. In fact,
I'm
I've got to
a
get
bit
my
indifferent
standard.
about him, yeah.
No, I can't stand him as an actor or a person. And in today's cancel culture, where you just say one word out of line
Cancelled.
on Twitter, you get cancelled. Meanwhile, he's got literally convicted of a
Apart from him.
premeditated racist assault, and
Yeah.
he's still getting work in Hollywood. Fuck Mark Wahlberg. Fuck him right
The
up
ladies
the arse
like him.
in a
The
bad
ladies
way.
like him. Double standards,
Well, you
blah,
could
blah,
say
blah.
that about Hitler, couldn't you?
You just have.
Now, Mark Wahlberg, not a fan, nasty person, bad actor, horrible. Get out of it.
Right,
Am
we'll
I
move on
clear?
then. We'll move on then. Right.
Jack
Not a
Nicholson was
fan.
good in this film, though. I got to admit, Jack Nicholson. Oh, Bad Day. Yeah. Well, what
Never
can we
heard of
say
it.
about that film?
Never
No, I've
heard
never
of
heard of it
God, I'm looking good here, aren't I?
Keith, do you want to go first on this one?
You've
I
never heard of
don't
it.
think I've ever seen it.
either.
What is it? Has it just been made?
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Oh,
Come on, Keith.
How can I be objective about this film?
How could I be?
I don't know.
objective about it?
Go on. This is why it'll be
Isn't
good.
Put it this way, you know, you are doing all sorts of different genres within cop movies. You know, of what you've shown so far. We've had comedy, we've had serious, we've had sci-fi. You're also showing
Now
all
we've got
different
squirming.
You're also showing all different budgets, right?
Squirming.
Because I can guarantee this will be the smallest budget out of all the ones we've seen so far. Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me
Who's
about
in
it.
it? I don't recognise the faces.
There you
The
go.
screen's too small. I can't
In the
read
chat,
names.
Kral
Got it here.
Birab, always coming through for us.
Barker Grove.
But
What do you think of it, Mr. Brown? Because you can be objective.
Yeah, you could tell it was low budget. Wasn't
Who's
an
in it?
issue.
Claire who?
Goose.
Who the fuck is Claire Goose? God, fire agent, love. Claire Goose. What kind of name is that? Claire Goose. That's a straight to DVD name if ever I saw one.
You don't know how right you are there, mate.
Even
I,
stop clock gives the right time
well,
twice a day.
it does.
I
Hey.
think
does.
Cockney's not in on the joke here, right?
No, he's not. Unfortunately, he's not. Yeah.
What is it?
Well, unfortunately, the Mega Geek seeded the joke. Did you not, Mega Nerd? This
No,
morning?
I was just saying that if you want to talk about cop movie,
you seeded it, my friend.
no, I said to you if you want to talk about cop movie, maybe you can talk about Bad Day, but didn't think you were going to put up Bad Day because it's not really a classic and it's just a low budget film that I directed. That's all, you know. So
Ah.
Some of the other films are not
Hmm?
deemed as classics.
I
That's
was gonna say,
why.
look,
I
it's brilliant.
guess,
I'm about to buy
but
it.
it's your stream, mate.
Well, don't you think it'd be very
Well.
boring if we just did, say, 10 amazing films?
Hang
Ooh.
on a minute. So we've been talking about cop films for
Ooh.
a quarter, and now I'm just
Right,
finding
I'm gonna
out that
stop
one of the
digging.
people.
I'm going to
Mega
stop
Geek's
digging that
been-
hole.
You've been hiding your light under a bushel. Did you really direct that film?
Yeah, I directed
Bloody
it.
hell!
it's
wow,
got his
you
interest up
directed
now.
a cop film.
Yeah, I did, and Keith's in it. Keith plays a cop.
You guys are too much. God, you set me up like a kipper there, didn't you?
It's free. Listen, it's free. You can watch it on. It's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube.
I
It's
told
free.
him
I've
it's free.
been guilted into it. I will watch it. So is Claire Goose gone on to a Hollywood career?
Claire Goose is a TV star over in the UK. She was in Waking the Dead
Casualty.
and Casualty.
The UK, where's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, indeed.
So,
Did
but
it win any awards for best supporting actor by any chance, Ian?
yeah, Anthony. no, no. It's look. Basically, I wanted to make a cop movie because England don't make cop movies, and I decided to make this movie. I wrote it and decided to make it, so I made it. And you know, it's a very, very low budget film. It was the first time we were shooting digitally because we'd shot on film before, you know. And Keith was in it, and we had a good time. We got screwed by the distributor.
Really?
Yeah, totally got screwed by the distributor big time. But the film is liked, believe it or not. So
It's not bad, to be fair.
So
Yeah.
Keith, is this week? Because you were saying yesterday you got your icon from being in a cop film. This is presumably the one.
No,
Well,
that-
actually, no. The icon there is from another film Ian's done called, well, web series, in fact, called Rebecca
Award
Gold.
winning.
But this was I play an equally nasty character in both films. So
But as you pointed out, you are a nice bloke, and
It's
hero
amazing.
roles
Keith
are
is
available.
he's such a gentleman in real life, but he always plays the toe rag copper.
It's called
well, it's only
acting,
because that's
darling.
what Ian obviously thinks of
He
me.
plays it well as well. He plays it
No.
well.
well, the thing is, it's not. I mean, once we cast Claire in it and Donna in it, and Sarah Harding from Girls Aloud, which is on the poster.
Girls are
You know,
lewd.
it was, you know, and I had to fill the roles, didn't I? So I got the ones that tried to sell the movie, and you know, Keith's my friend, so I thought, you know, just put him in this role.
You wrote
I
the
had
story,
to
didn't
audition
you?
for
Say,
the
who
part,
wrote the
though,
script?
didn't I? To be
I
fair,
wrote the script. Sorry, mate.
Right.
Sorry.
I said, to be fair though, I did audition for the part, right? I
Yes, you
wasn't just
did. Yeah,
given
you
to me,
did.
I actually did audition for it. So,
You were
yeah.
a good fit for it. You were a good
In
fit. I would
fact-
never
in fact,
cast you.
In fact, if memory serves, some of your producers actually said that they didn't think I'd be able to do it because they called me Smiley Keith. Is that right, or something?
Well,
I remember you
well,
telling me that story.
Because
You
he
were
had a
kind of-
nickname. because Keith always smiling, always happy. So everybody used to call him Smiley Keith. And I said, well, why'd you cast Smiley Keith in a role as a disgusting, double-crossing cop role? And I was like, he's an actor.
It's called acting, exactly. It's called having a range.
Keith, you nailed it. I thought you were a right wanker in it, so you nailed it.
Starring Claire Goose, Debbie Duck, and Terry Turkey.
Yeah, Claire Goose was great in it.
She was, yeah. She was absolutely nailed it.
I think Donna Eyre was a little bit rough around the edges, but you could see her getting better and better.
I don't know. I thought Donna was really good. I really pushed Donna, though, because I had to make her perform. And she was really good. I mean, again, even though it's a cop movie, and Keith will back me up on this, there's loads of layers in this film. It's about motherhood, it's about racism in the workplace. We got guns, we got girl fights, we got, you know what I mean? It's
girl fights, sign me up.
Incest. We've got incest as well.
Got incest, and we have gangsters. Well, they weren't really. Well, I guess they were gangsters,
and we always threw too much in there, didn't you? But
almost, but it worked.
But we did have the benefit. One of the things that was great about this was we had the benefit of rehearsal, which is something you don't always get for film, and that saved us big time, didn't it?
And also, this was made over, I think it was how many years ago? 10 years ago, Keith? I can't remember.
Was it 2008?
Oh God,
yeah. And
back when I thought I had a chance, back.
But
it's ago.
Yeah. I naturally put women in the lead in my film. It wasn't, today, obviously.
It wasn't forced.
It wasn't forced, no, at all. Because when I wrote the script, I wanted a female lead, and Claire Goose was the lead, and so was Donna. But it has all the tropes because it's meant to be a cop movie. So Donna plays the rookie. Anthony, who happens to be black, he plays the world-weary cop, and the main protagonist is Claire Goose's character, basically, and she's undercover. So it's all set in one day.
I did like the story. I thought it was very well written, mate. So
has twists in it and stuff.
Yeah. Cockney, you should check it out, mate. It's a good film.
I should. I didn't realise I was in the company of such film luminaries. I mean, pull our finger out.
Neither did I, to be fair.
If only.
I think that Star Wars fan film done, so I got one in the can.
Well, I mean, if you go to my site, there's 3 feature films on there. There's Killing Zone, the very first film I ever made.
There'll be a link.
Yeah, and then I made Fallen Angels. Got hired to make a horror film called Fallen Angels. Michael Ironside and Jeff Fahey were in it, so I get to. That's probably the biggest one I did, and then I made Bad Day, and then Rebecca Gold. But
and the BBC still aren't giving you an interview. Are you listening, BBC? You muppets.
they're all idiots.
Clearly,
but do you know what? I did have a good. Bad Day was one of those films that wasn't really that stressful to make. It was a lot of fun making Bad Day. I don't know about your side, Keith, but for me, it was quite a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was obviously only there for a portion of it, and it was all good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I'd have liked more. I'd have liked more Bad Days.
Yeah. I liked the car scenes with the green screen. I picked up on that straight away. I thought, nice.
Just to warn Cockney, if you do watch it, there's scenes in it where they're driving in a car, and we deliberately made it look like back projection because it was meant to be a homage to the 70s movies and
ironic bad because you actually talked about it at length. I remember hearing you talking. You really know your onions because you were saying about to do it properly, you put a car on the back of a truck and then have them.
That was Fallen Angels. Yeah.
Because was it a producer going? Yeah, that car's not going to be too big. Oh, it was. So,
yeah.
So you do know how to do it properly. So no, thanks for warning me about that because I'm all about the bad projection. It's got bad reprojection. I only like it ironic. So,
but everybody, I remember when we first did it, when we first had a screening. I think it was at BAFTA, and the people were going, those car shots look. And I keep saying to them, it was deliberate. We made it look like back projection because it was a homage to those kind of movies. But I mean, when Tarantino does it, nobody bats an eyelid. But when Ian does it, everybody's like, it looks like back projection.
People are always quick to criticize, mate. That's That's the nature of things, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Cockney thinks of it if he does eventually watch it.
That's your homework, Cockney.
Oh, you want an honest review of it? Oh, I hope I like it, because if I don't, that's going to be awkward.
Well, that's okay if you don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, and quite frankly, I don't mind when people don't like my films. It's fine. Doesn't really
I'll at
bother
least-
me.
I'll at least try and be constructive if I
Where's the
don't.
replicants then?
Exactly. Which one of them's a replicant?
All of them.
Oh, spoiler alert! And
So,
of course, if I don't like it, you've got to come back ready. Which is how many films have you made, Cockney?
No,
None.
look, I've had
3, but they're not allowed to be released.
I've had the worst.
Very
I've had
private.
people. I've had the worst of people telling me how bad my films are. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I'm not a Hollywood filmmaker. I do my
me
best on the
neither.
small budget that I've got, and it's people's opinions. Good luck to them. I don't mind. It's fine with.
Yeah,
It's fine with me.
I've done a couple of films, but like I say, I can't release them. French Maids 1 and 2, and Documentaries 1. Fantastic films. You'll never see them.
It's your version of French Maid. It's Cockney Cleaner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically two French maids and one very dirty boss.
As the main character got a moustache by any chance?
I cannot say for legal reasons. Most of the screen time is taken up by the French maids, who are
okay.
a fantastic performance.
Oh, great.
I'll tell you what, costuming was a nightmare. There's a big difference between stockings and hold-ups. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Ian, if you had the opportunity to correct something in the film, what would you correct? If you could go back and just tweak
The rear projection, the irony not recognised.
No, bad day. If I had the chance to go back and just do it and had a bit more money, I would put more action in the film. Because even though it has action, it doesn't really have a lot of action. There were certain scenes that we couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
In the film, but and also some of the action scenes that we didn't have enough money to make it, as good as it can be.
Right.
But we knew that going in anyway, because we only had, I think it was $8,000 we only had to make this film. So
Wow.
So we knew we were up against it. So we shot
And
as
that was
fast as
just my
we
fee.
can.
Yeah. How long did it take?
£8,000.
How long did it take to film?
2 weeks. 2 weeks to shoot, because we shot really fast. We're doing all handheld.
Yeah.
We didn't have any sticks at all in any of the shots. I called in loads of favors. Keith is one of the favors I called in. We were really surprised that Claire wanted to do it, because at the time she was a big TV star, and Donna, we were surprised. Yeah, we were surprised that Donna wanted to do it as well.
Yeah.
Because she was big on MTV at the time.
She was.
She was a host on MTV, and Claire and my producer friend got Sarah Harding, which Girls Aloud was really
Sarah
huge at
who?
the time as well. Exactly. Now it's Sarah Who, but and the distributor didn't use any of them to its advantage.
No, did they? Yeah.
There's a rumor that they just wanted a tax write-off on it, so that's why they took it on.
Right.
So they didn't do anything with it. But yeah, we got screwed. But there you go.
They did
made a film for
Blu-ray release, didn't they?
Sorry,
Because I ended up getting it on DVD because the Blu-ray wasn't it wasn't finished properly, was it?
no, the Blu-ray, the speed is slow. That's why the film length is longer than on DVD. They didn't do it properly. They didn't because it's cheaper to do it the American way than it is to do it the British way, which is 25 frames per second. The British way, they did 24 frames per second on the Blu-ray for England because it was cheaper. Bunch of wankers, all of them. But there you go. Such is life. What else can you say?
It is, mate.
That's film production lessons, hey?
Yeah. Well, as I said, I learned a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I'll never go with distributor now ever, unless I trust them. I have a producer on my a lawyer on my side as well, who's my boss. So next time I do a film, just pass everything to him, so he can tell me if I'm signing something that's worth my while, if you know what I mean. So
Never sign on the dotted line.
for the folks at home, I enjoyed it. I'd give it a solid 7. I can understand, the low budget, etc., etc.
£8,000. There's films with twice as many zeros that probably aren't as good.
I was
you
going to
haven't
say,
seen it yet.
no, I was going to say, Ian, I've seen worse, mate, on bigger budgets. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. As I said, if anybody wants to watch it, I think 2 people are watching now. So you two, if you want to,
Yeah, Kural
mate.
Birab should, Kural Birab should watch it, mate. It's good. It's on Ian's channel, so yeah, it's a good film. I enjoyed it, so yeah.
Thank you.
I think there's one more. Just bear with me.
Okay.
Hot Fuzz.
Oh, I like this film.
I did,
I actually really like this film.
Ain't heard of it.
It's
Yes.
it's very simple, but it's effective. I don't know what you thought, Keith, but I really liked it.
I also really enjoyed it, and you know, first up to say what a sad loss.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know, gone way before his time.
Yeah.
Before his time. You know, a really great actor. That I think was going to be a really big star had he lived longer. But yeah, you know, this film. I saw it on. I didn't see it at the cinema. I saw this just on Amazon, I think, on streaming.
It was very recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Just before lockdown, was it?
I think it might have been.
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah,
it was.
so last year.
I saw it in the cinema.
Oh, did you see it in the cinema? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to, but I didn't. It didn't get much of a release, did it? I think it was one of those deals where it maybe got a week or so at the cinema and then was pretty much available on Amazon Prime, more or less straight away. But yeah, like you said, you know, a simple action thriller, and it's good that we're putting something more recent on there. But yeah, it was good.
What was the plot?
I think it was a bunch of cops get killed by 2 opportunists, villains, and so because cops have got killed, all the cops come out to find these villains, and they shut down 21 bridges so they can't get out. And it all happens in one night, as I recall. And,
that's right.
Yeah. And so, but basically, there's a little bit of shenanigans, as I would say, with the police force. So they're trying to protect their end. And but Chadwick though is really, you can see this man was going to be a star in this film. He was like Clint Eastwood in this film. I don't know about you, Keith, but I felt. We had that presence that he was like, he played the cop that basically was kind but fair but really tough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of Clint Eastwood kind of thing. So
it was definitely a multifaceted character, and I mean, obviously, you know, we'd already seen him in Black Panther, you know, playing the hero, you know, and in Civil War and whatever. But yeah, you know, this was just it was just a decent, you know, quite simple action thriller, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was
a
fun.
Recommendation, then, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was watching it, I didn't realize it was Sienna Miller. I didn't realize it was her when I was watching it. Yeah. And also I was really surprised at the ending with her character. I won't give it away, spoilers, but I was really surprised that what happened to her at the ending. But hey,
yeah,
you know, yeah. But there you go. So it's a great movie as far as I'm concerned. You know, it does what it says on the tin. It's a thriller and it's a cop movie, and you know, you can't say any fairer than that.
And there's 21 bridges in it.
Well, they shut down all the bridges, yeah, for just for the night, so that people won't get out. Because obviously, if you kill a cop in Manhattan, or if you kill any cops are going to be after you and stuff like that.
It was originally announced as 17 bridges, but I guess somebody didn't count properly.
Yeah, probably that 21 sounds better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's
Brooklyn Bridge, Queensboro Bridge, got the Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh, because you lived there, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't live in Manhattan.
No,
I went into Manhattan.
Cockney did.
Oh yes,
I was in Queens, so I'd be seeing it from the other side. I'd have been on the other side, looking in. Yeah, you got the Queensboro Bridge. I can't remember the other bridge. Yeah, because this is it. Manhattan. Basically, when people say New York, they generally mean Manhattan because that's the island. There's Queens part of Long Island, which is a different island.
It's a good film.
And there's Staten Island, of course.
One to watch, yes.
Definitely. If people haven't watched this film, they should watch it. It's really good. It's got Jonathan J. Jameson in it. I can't remember the guy's name. Is his name? What's his name? The guy who plays Jonathan J. Jameson, Keith.
Oh, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, he's in it.
yeah.
He gives a good performance in it as well.
Yeah, no, he's very good. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
so,
yet Jeff Bridges isn't in it.
he's not. No, they had to shut him down so they couldn't get over Jeff Bridges.
Jeff,
Missed a trick there, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think that is it for the graphics. So shall we just do kind of honourable mentions and kind
Sure.
of discuss for the last 25 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah. 16
Sure.
blocks. 16 blocks is a great
That was
movie.
in my list, wasn't it? Yes.
It
great.
was. Yes, it was.
Again,
love
Richard
that.
Donner. Yeah.
Yeah, I love 16 blocks. I think 16 blocks is one of those great cop movies that people forget about. I think it's a great movie personally.
I've forgotten about it.
It was when Bruce Willis still cared, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Before he started phoning everything in,
yeah.
like Harrison Ford.
I don't know, Keith, do you want to mention one?
Yeah, in terms of honourable mentions, I really like a film called Copland, which is
Stallone.
That
Sylvester
was
Stallone.
that was mentioned. That was mentioned in the chat earlier. Yeah,
De Niro.
by, Slavko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's directed by James Mangold, and I always thought that that's actually probably one of Stallone's best, if not the best, performance. It's just great. It's got
Copland.
Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta.
All the
it's
big
got
players.
great-
In that sense, I mean, like Cobra, I haven't seen it, but it's kind of like the opposite of Cobra because it was basically Stallone with a bit of a paunch
Yes.
and not wearing Ray-Bans. Is
Yep.
that right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. And
wearing Ray-Bans indoors. Yeah.
we mustn't forget one of the greatest cop movies, which is Seven. Seven is a great cop
Yes.
movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seven did come
Seven.
up quite a lot in when I googled top cop movies.
That's
it did
actually,
come up
I'll make that
quite a
officially
lot.
my favourite cop film now you mentioned it. Thanks, Mega Geek. Spot on. Seven, absolutely fantastic.
And who does that
Almost
star?
That stars Brad Pitt
Morgan Freeman.
and Morgan Freeman. That's it. I was
Yeah.
about to say that.
It's a great film, absolutely terrific, and again, it's a character-driven, and also has a great twist at the ending. And they had a hell of a time trying to make it, and it's uniquely shot because it was the first time they actually used that technique on film to make everything look sepia tone, and everybody started copying it. And the opening credit sequence has been copied so many times.
Amazing credits. Trent
yeah.
Reznor doing the soundtrack.
Mm,
Is that right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great film.
David Finch is one of our best, working directors today, I think, and this is right up
And,
there.
and
Seven,
it was
brilliant.
it was great that they kept what's his name's name out of the credits. The villain.
Kevin Spacey.
Spacey?
He'll be
Kevin
kept there
Spacey.
for different reasons now, though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that scene where they're driving to the last destination, and he has the conversation with Brad Pitt, it's priceless. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant film as far as I'm concerned.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Yeah.
And didn't Brad Pitt fight for that because they were going to change it to something else? There was just a cake in the box or something, but he
No,
wanted her
I think
put his head in
I was watching the making of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, because I know you're a connoisseur when it comes to the making of stuff, but all the talking in the car was redubbed because the sound wasn't very good, and Brad Pitt was pissed off because he thought his performance was really good in the car. Is that true?
Yeah, I think they mentioned something about that on the commentary, if memory serves, but it's a long time since I've watched the audio commentary on that. But yeah, I think there was something about that it was unusable, so they had to go back and do it in ADR, and a lot of actors don't like doing ADR. So yeah.
And then
And
the scene with the helicopters, I think they reshot. They added that towards the ending, didn't they? With the helicopters flying over when they're going to the last destination. I think that might be true as well. Or did I read that somewhere else? I don't know.
and although I apologise because I've mentioned this on a previous show, but if I remember correctly, with the DVD extras, there's basically it brings up the question: are deleted scenes canon? Because with the deleted scenes, Morgan Freeman's character cancels his retirement at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that old thing about our deleted scenes canon, and that's
You
always.
know, do you know? I like to say, right, that at the ending of Seven's one of my favorite films, and if you watch Bad Day, you can see the influence that I had through cop movies. So Anthony's character is a bit like Somerset, but obviously not as good as Somerset, but he wears the same trench coat as Somerset in Bad Day. And at the ending, you probably didn't notice this, Keith, but the last sound you hear in Seven before
it's the
helicopter, and in Bad Day, I have the sound of the helicopter, and that's the last sound you hear. So there are a few bits that I kind of was influenced by, because I was looking at loads of cop movies, and I was looking at small bits, thinking that's really nice, and I'd like to do that.
He was doing a Doomcock.
I just realised this show I should have changed my name to Cockney Spock. Mr. Trick there, didn't I?
Yes.
Slow on the uptake again.
But yeah, Seven's a great movie, absolutely great. And one of my favorite scenes is when Morgan Freeman's in the office and he's explaining that this is going to carry on. It's not a one-off. And he puts those things up saying, sloth, blah, 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 blah. And he says, you're going to get more of them. And he walks off. And I think that's a priceless scene. That's a really well performed scene. Don't know about you.
And also for all you sinner pedants out there, it points out that gluttony is different from because a lot of people see someone eating lots of cakes and go, "Oh, you're a bit greedy." No, I'm being a bit gluttonous, actually.
Yes.
And do you remember that scene where Morgan Freeman's interviewing someone and Brad Pitt's interviewing someone, and they have that shot where there's a wall dividing both rooms where they're interviewing, and there's that wonderful performance by that actor, and I can't remember his name, the guy that was shaking.
He left an impression on you then.
Yeah, well, of course. It's the bit where he made screw the prostitute with the horrible.
Oh, and he's really shaken, eh?
Yeah. Do you remember that, Keith? I can't remember the actor.
Yeah, I don't remember the acter's name, but I know the scene.
He's been in a lot of stuff, but it's such a great performance, and he in from him. So it's a really great film as far as I'm concerned.
Actually, that's really another one for the sinning pedants out there. I would have thought he should have killed the guy, because the guy was guilty of lust, not the prostitute. That's the whole point. It was her job. She wouldn't have been feeling any lust at all, so she shouldn't have been killed. He should have been killed. I thought. I don't know, but I know, talking about a mad fictional serial killer, so I guess he's not going to kill.
It was clever though, the ending, because the last sin was his, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it wasn't any to do with anybody else.
That was genius. Yeah,
it was a great ending as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
that's a good movie. Did somebody put on the screen Nighthawks? Because that's actually
yes.
Night Hawk.
Do you know?
I considered putting that in, but
they shot that where I lived. They shot that where I lived. They shot. There's a department store called Arden Hobbs. It's still there because it's a listed building, but it's not a good film anymore. And they blow that up in Nighthawks. Rutger Hauer goes in there, and that's just across the road from where I live. So it was really cool when I saw it on a big screen. I was like, "That's Arden and Hobbs. I live there."
I've not seen it in a long time, but I do remember, enjoying it on.
Did he do that after First Blood?
1978. So before
earlier.
First.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is
it that old? No. Sorry, no. 1981. Yeah, it was the year before, wasn't it? Year before First Blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy
D. Williams was in it, right?
Billy D. Williams. Yeah. Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah.
Bionic Woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great
Rutger Hauer's, excellent as the bad dude.
Yes, he was.
So that would have been the year before Blade Runner.
Or Blade Runner, yeah. The year before First Blood and the year before Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's, it's a good film.
Is Blade Runner a cop movie?
Of course it is.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not cop, you're little people.
There you go. He's specifically a cop. Yeah. I mean, it's science fiction, broadly speaking, but you could subgenre it. It's science fiction cop movie, I guess.
Yeah, and film noir.
That's right.
It's kind of got
there you go.
Yeah.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? The debate rages on.
Well, a lot of people say that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie because it wasn't
Is it a
written-
cop
written
movie?
as a Christmas
Yeah.
movie. But it is a cop movie.
I'm
He's a
strictly
cop.
in the camp of I don't give a fuck. I mean, what's a Christmas movie? It's a nitpick too far. I mean, it took place at Christmas. Yeah, if you like, who cares?
I think it was just
mean, it's-
coincidental, wasn't it?
It is a cop
Yeah.
movie, though. Definitely a cop
Definitely.
movie, because he's a cop,
Yeah.
right? McClane's a cop, so
Is it a good one?
it's a brilliant one.
Oh God, yeah. Again, the first three, yes, but anything after that, no.
Real big fucking drop
I
off.
didn't mind the fourth one. It was
I
Oh,
didn't
I-
either. I didn't. To be fair,
all right.
I've not
wasn't
seen
great.
the one in Russia.
Oh, that's terrible.
Not seen it.
Absolutely awful. I saw the first 5 minutes of it on DVD, and I thought, I'm not watching this. It's really bad. Absolute shit. There you go.
That is terrible. But
Speaking of Russia,
Go on, Courtney. Go on.
speaking of Russia, was there a cop movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger playing a Russian cop,
Yeah,
and
Pete.
he's with
Red-
Jim
Red-
Belushi?
Yes,
Again.
Red
Oh,
Heat.
that's another
Red
one.
Heat.
Again.
And
Yeah.
Another one with Jim Belushi.
yeah,
John
48
Belushi,
hours.
sorry.
48 Hours is another great cop movie, as far as I'm concerned. It was the
Good
very
buddy
first. Yeah, it was the very
It is a good
first
film.
cop movie that actually concentrated on sound effects. Their guns sounded like missiles when they were shooting at each other. So it was that kind of. I can't remember what year it was made in. 48 Hours.
That was Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte.
Nick
wasn't
Nolte,
it?
yeah, and it was
Oh,
directed by
Was that
Ron-
82? I think that was before Cop. I think it was
Beverly
about
Hills Cop.
82.
It
Yeah, I
was
think.
before Beverly Hills Cop, definitely.
Yeah, I think it was about 82. Was it?
Just trying to look it up now. 48 Hours. The film was 1982. Yes.
Oh,
Another
I
1982
know.
film. That really was a good
Yeah.
year for films, eh?
Reggie Hammond. I remember his name. That's it. Reggie.
Reggie. Now, with the
He-
lack of British films represented in this list, I'm surprised we've not really talked about Hot Fuzz. It's a comedy, but it is a cop film and it is
Yeah.
British.
yeah,
Yeah.
again, I considered putting that in.
Sweeney, 1 and 2.
Oh, well, that's it for
Those
Hot
are
Fuzz.
great cop movies. Yeah.
Did you did you like Hot Fuzz? I thought it was pretty good.
I did. I liked it. I liked
Well,
it very
because
much.
I like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg from Spaced. I still think Spaced was an early career peak for them. For me, nothing tops Spaced. So for me, like the more famous that they got, the less good they got. But it was still pretty good.
The Equalizer was in Hot Fuzz as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes, he
What?
was.
Iwawoo?
E
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah,
Iwawoo, yes.
and so was Bond as well. Timothy Dalton.
He was,
Yeah,
yes, as the
Dalton.
supermarket manager.
He was quite
Typecast
funny.
again.
In the chat as well, somebody's put the Rookie.
There you go.
Ah, Clint Eastwood.
I don't think we can't not mention Clint Eastwood
Yeah.
because Dirty
It would
Harry.
be rude not to.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
definitely.
definitely.
And what about Brannigan with Brannigan
John
with
Wayne.
John Wayne? Yeah, John Wayne.
Jesus.
Brannigan.
That
Remember
was a
that?
good. Yeah, I remember. It's a good film.
So you don't
What a
do the
great
72,
movie.
eh, Brown?
Oh Jesus!
He made two, didn't he? He made Brannigan, and I can't
Was it
remember the one.
McHugh? McHugh.
Yeah, McHugh. Yeah.
Fucking
So.
hell.
They should do a
Oops.
film about Chewbacca's early career. Call it the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Dum dum, indicating not actually funny.
French Connection, which is another classic.
Yeah.
French
Do you
Connection.
want to finish off with French Connection and maybe
Very
Eastwood?
rude not to. It
And
invented
Eastwood.
car chases.
Well, yeah,
Popeye
we've got 10 minutes, so should we just finish off with
That's
that
on the French Connection.
and Dirty Harry series, maybe?
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about Dirty Harry series, I love the Dirty Harry films. They're so over the top, and that they actually got sillier and sillier as it went along. But they're classics because everybody remembers, Go Ahead, Make My Day. And which one was that, Keith? Was the fourth one or the fifth one?
Well, where he says "Go ahead, punk, make my day" was actually from Sudden Impact, which was the
that was
fourth
it.
one. But
one.
obviously, the famous speech about
Yeah.
"Do I Feel Lucky" is, of course,
Yeah.
from the original and written
Yeah.
by John Millinus and whatever. But yeah, that's cool. But
Wasn't
they
David Soul?
were video for me. I remember I had a box set of VHS of the Dirty Harry collection, and yeah, amazing.
Was David Soul in it? Was it Magnum Force?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
Which was the second one. Yeah, Magnum Force with David Soul, and then the Enforcer had Tyne Daly in it, who ended up being in Cagney and Lacey.
They'll never show that now. They'll never show that now, will they, Keith? Because the amount of sexism that was in that film.
Yeah,
will they show any of them?
It's what is it? Cockney? It's because obviously it was contemporary at the time, but now it's
what? Period.
So yeah, they would,
spot on.
They shouldn't censor it because that's how it was.
Yeah,
at the time. Plus, there's a difference between a sexist film and a sexist character. Sometimes you have a sexist character, meaning the film isn't sexist because it's pointing out the sexism of the character. Not saying that Magnum Chocolate was an example of that, but.
What was I going to say, Keith? Do you know? I think it was 2 of his partners survived. All the rest of the partners that teamed up with Harry Callahan died. I think the Chinese guy in Sudden Impact, he survived, and there was another one that survived, and I can't remember.
That guy was in the Deadpool.
Yes.
Yeah, which wasn't a very good Dirty Harry film, to be honest. It was the last one,
but it had Jim Carrey in it, so.
Yeah,
so there you go. Yeah, so there you go. But who's the other guy that survived though? Or was it a girl?
Good question.
Yeah, there's 2. The 2 that survived.
I'm ashamed that I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but yeah,
we'll find out. We'll find out one day, I guess.
I always remember those films being on ITV on a Saturday. They were on quite a lot, weren't they, in the 70s, early 80s?
Yeah.
You don't think they'll ever be shown again?
Well, I hope they do show them again because they are classic movies, and Clint Eastwood is a huge star, still a huge star. They shouldn't really censor these things because they're part of film history.
Exactly. So, agreed.
I don't understand why they're going this route.
Actually, wasn't it? Thinking about. Sorry, that's really got me thinking. But it was the character played by Rennie Santini in Dirty Harry, right? Because as I said, there was always that thing about because his name was Gonzalez, and that was the name of the same actor played that a character of that name in Cobra, right? So did he survive that film?
I don't know. I can't remember, mate. I really can't remember.
I feel embarrassed not knowing this, actually. Dear.
But you've pretty much known everything else. I think you have a couple of minutes.
I think we'll let you off on that one, Keith.
Because it's the earlier partner that dies, isn't it? But I think he survived. Anyway, whatever.
So what film was the tagline, or was the line "Man's got no limitations"? Was that the second one?
No, I think that was that not the Enforcer, the third one?
No, might have been the third one. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I can't remember all the sayings in each individual film, though. I know, do you feel Lucky Punch is number one?
Our friend Ben Stockley would. He'd be going nuts if he heard this, I'm sure. But killing it.
But yeah, those films were great, though. Let's face it, for that time.
Yeah, I love them.
They were trick. And also, what was that film?
I have them on Blu-ray.
He played another cop, didn't he, in that film? The one where they were in the bus at the ending.
Yeah, well, he played.
There was a Tightrope. There was Tightrope as well, wasn't there?
Tightrope. Yeah.
It was called The Enforcer, and not the Enforcer, sorry, the Gauntlet, and he played. His character name is Ben Shockley, which is where our friend got that name from.
Yeah.
So,
But also, we're forgetting about Burt Reynolds. Sharky's Machine was another great cop movie.
Yeah,
I thought was good. And didn't he not play any of cop movies? He was in loads of cop movies.
Oh, he's in loads. I really like him and Eastwood together in City Heat. Actually, if you want to go kind of historical comedy horror cop movie.
Yeah, that was a kind of 50s feel thing, wasn't it? With the I just about remember that one.
Yeah, it was a big thing to get both of them in one movie, wasn't it? Because they were both huge stars at the time. So it was a big thing, but it was a bad movie though. The movie wasn't very good, but there you go.
It had a lot of interference, but yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
But do you think we should mention, like, films coming up as well? Because I don't know about you guys. Have you seen the trailer for the new Denzel Washington crime thriller called The Little Things?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
I'm looking forward to that. I
Mm.
like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it might be a good one. Who knows?
Not the
I'm looking
Equalizer
forward to
3.
June, but that hasn't come out.
Looking forward to what?
I was looking forward to June. When's it going to come out?
I don't know. I don't know.
I no longer let myself look forward to things until it's in the can and available, preferably on Blu-ray. I don't allow myself to look forward to it because, I mean, who'd have anticipated things like, cinema closing down around the world?
Did anybody see To Live and Die in LA?
I
Yeah,
did,
love that
yeah.
film.
Really knocks
Great
you for
film.
6 when that thing happens, which I'm not going to do a spoiler. It really knocks you for 6. You're like, what?
I
So-
bought the OST as well. All the Wang Chung music was excellent.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Yeah, because that was the same guy who did French.
Yeah, William Friedkin.
Yeah,
Yeah, William Friedkin directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a very
That's
good
such a
director.
good movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
But and also another classic cop movie is In the Heat of the Night, which is absolutely brilliant. Heat of the Night, anybody?
negative.
Yeah, I know of it. Yeah,
Brilliant film. Well, Sidney
One lot
Poitier.
before, isn't it? Yeah.
Sidney Poitier was amazing in that film, and it's such a good story, well performed, well shot. Very, very good movie,
Yeah.
as far as I was concerned. So Heat of the
I
Night is
agree.
another cop movie. Yeah,
Bullet?
it's a good-
Bullet.
Bullet, yes, but
Yeah.
you know what? Bullet
Well,
is. Bullet's okay. It's not, the car chase is a classic, but the film is kind of a bit dull, in my opinion. And you can see McQueen didn't want dialogue at all. He had his dialogue was sparse, wasn't it? In the film,
Was
if
it
you
a
not
silent
noticed.
film?
No, but I heard that he gave away his dialogue to other actors. He wasn't one for in fact, he used to say to everybody that he's not a very good actor. I remember reading that about him, the making, when they were talking about him, that he used to give his lines away to other actors all the time because he couldn't remember the lines and stuff. So if you look at Bullet very carefully, he really does say very little in that film. But what a great start of a movie. The music, right, by the guy who did Enter the Dragon. Can't remember his name. Who's the guy who did Enter Dragon, Keith?
Lalo Schifrin?
Yeah. What a
Oh, was
great,
it?
brilliant
Good
start to a
guess.
movie. Absolutely brilliant with the credits and everything. So, but that's a great movie, Bullet. I really liked it.
Any others come to mind for the last?
Well,
3
Narc.
minutes?
Narc. Have you seen Narc, Keith?
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
a good movie. That's a good movie. That's another film that's not really talked about.
I'll tell you what, Mega Geek, if you ever do another cop film, I really wish and hope that you call it Cop Buddy Car Chase.
Yeah. I'd call it Cockney Spock. Cockney Spock,
Cockney Spock.
And Isles. That's what I call it.
You're fucking next, me old beauty.
What about Training Day? That's great. I
Training
didn't
Day's
think
good.
a bit of
Ooh.
Deadpool again, but
Mm.
Yeah. That was intense, that film.
yeah.
There were some intense moments in that film.
Yeah,
I
that was,
found.
So
that was
many, aren't there?
Denzel, wasn't
There's
it?
so many films. It's like
I know.
Yeah.
When I was looking, as I said, I googled best cop films. We could be here all night. There's so many.
There is, but there's some great. As I said, French Connection is a movie that I fell in love with the first time I saw it, and I saw it on BBC Two. And then the week after, they showed French Connection 2, which I kind of liked, but I thought the first one was better. And even though you watch the first one, there's all these 60s stuff in it and 70s stuff in it, and some of the scenes drag out a bit.
Yeah.
But once you get to the nitty gritty of Popeye Doyle and Roy Schneider's character, you really get into it. You know, I don't know what you guys think of it, if you can remember it.
It's been so long. I remember seeing it on BBC, but that must be 70s.
I got the Blu-ray, and it looks absolutely fantastic on Blu-ray.
although it's controversial because they actually did change the the look of the film on Blu-ray, and I know that cinematographer was always quite angry about that. So,
but you know, they never had a script for that film at all. I don't know if this is true, and I do believe I've read it. They never had a script. They were making up as they went along. They had storylines, and they made up and then it won best screenplay.
Wow.
So there you go.
Because that worked so well for Star Wars, didn't it?
Yeah. So there you go.
Right, guys. Shall we call it a draw?
Okay, a draw. There you go.
Draw.
Guys, thank you very much for taking the time for coming on. Admittedly, some of the films towards the end, I've not seen quite a few of them. Maybe I need to kind of brush up. Keith, thanks for coming on. Where are you? Where can people find you on YouTube? You've got a channel, haven't you?
Yeah, sure. I've got British Isles, which is EYLES, as in my last name, and there's some short films that I've made on that channel. And then I've got another channel called Home Media Minefield, which looks specifically at releases on Blu-ray and 4K and stuff like that. And we do unboxings and reviews. So yeah, and also on the podcast side of things, Let's See What's Out There, which currently we're looking at Marvel's WandaVision. So yeah, please check those out. Thank you.
I will put a link on the description. Ian, we can find you where?
It's just a Rebecca Gold channel. If you type in Rebecca Gold on YouTube, you'll find the channel. It's got films on there. It's got my award-winning web series, Rebecca Gold. I'm also on Twitter as well, under Ian David Diaz, Mega Geek. You can find me on Twitter. And yeah, that's about it, really.
And people can see Bad Day on your channel, which I'll put a link.
It's all free.
Cockney, where can they find you?
Find me on the Mr. Brown channel and your nearest
every day
bar. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, guys. Thanks for popping in. Everybody in the chat, thanks for spending the time with us. As I said, we are nothing without you guys, so much appreciated. I'm sure we will see everybody soon. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Cheers.